Tree Talking Time is brought to you by Conkey's Outdoors. Get all your hound hunting needs at conkeys.com. Welcome to Tree Talking Time, where we talk all things tree dogs, from the smallest feists to the largest hounds, treating squirrels to bears and everything in between. And from time to time, we might even run a little fast game. Need reliable housing for your animals? Animal Housing Solutions in Mayo, Florida builds custom coops, kennels, and shelters that are strong, durable, and designed with your animal's comfort in mind. Whether you need a large-scale kennel or a small custom chicken coop, they've got you covered. Quality craftsmanship, great service, and solutions built to last. That's the Animal Housing Solution promise. Check them out at Animal Housing Solutions on Facebook. Animal Housing Solutions, where your animals come first.
Hello, Ben.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, look, best day I ever had. I had to be call me Sheets if I got any better.
Well, I'm glad you had a great day.
Always.
But it couldn't have been that good because you haven't been hunting yet.
Well, I'm going though.
There you go.
I've hunted the last 4, 5 nights, maybe 6,
Ooh.
and but I'm slowing down in my old age. I'm slowing down, and
Retirement life's treating you well.
it has been. I don't have a complaint. I really don't. Yeah, complaining is not worth the trouble, the effort to do it.
Yeah.
But God's been good to me, and it's just been great.
That's awesome.
I think every morning I wake up, how thankful I am.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway,
I hope to make it there one day.
Have a conversation with you. You see, that's already a good deal. So anyway.
Well, I appreciate you coming on.
Oh, I love it. I love it. You just tell me, or ask me whatever you want to. I'm primed to go. I got the hammer back.
We're just gonna shoot the breeze and talk some black dogs.
Sure, absolutely. One favorite subject.
There you go.
You ready to go? You ready for me right now, Ben?
Yeah.
All right, let me go. All righty. Well, I'm Kenneth Laroux. I'm down here in Louisiana. I go by Chooch, Chooch. It's a nickname.
And what does that mean? Or where did it come from?
It's like a French word for endearment.
Okay.
Just kind of one of these names that I've had all my life. Really don't have an origin for it.
Okay.
It's just one I've had all my life.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the people down here don't even know my real name.
That's funny.
I told them my other name's a court name. So if you see it in court, you never won't know who you're talking about.
There you go.
But I'm November the 11th. I'll be 72 years old. I was born down here on the Sabine River bottom in 1951. We live right on the edge of the bottom. My dad and them were trappers. They had wild hogs, wild cattle. They didn't really have a job per se.
Mm-hmm.
They lived off the land.
Yeah.
And so we learned how to trap. We like coons and mink, and we sold hides, and that's how we kind of made a living.
Yeah.
And so we started coon hunting. Obviously, coons was a big part of what we did, and so we run coons with dogs. Very few registered dogs at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them are grade dogs. But my dad, in about 1956 or so, he ordered a black and tan dog from Tennessee that was going to be the cat's meow down here. Well, he come in on the train. We went and picked him up, brought him home. Wasn't long, we took him out. And that rascal, my dad named him Sputnik. About that time, the Russians had launched their satellite, and they called it the Sputnik because it'd go around the world.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was probably a good name for him because that son of a buck could run a deer around the world.
There you go.
But to my knowledge, we've never treated a coon with him.
So you had a great deer dog, huh?
Deer, I'm telling you, a beautiful black and tan. But boy, he was good. He was gamey. But anyway, we kept old Sputnik. We liked Sputnik. But I kind of liked the black dogs after that. And even though we never treated a coon,
mm-hmm.
And with kids, we always hunted. In the evenings, we'd come home from school and go hunting. And so probably about 10, 11 years old, I got where I could go by myself. And I had a 16 gauge shotgun with electric tape holding the forearm on. Uh, I had a bunch of old mutts around the house, and I had a lantern that I walked with, and I had a 2-cell flashlight in my pocket that I could shine the tree with.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd go off in the creek bottom, and these little old dogs I had would tree everything from if it went up a tree, they tree it.
Now,
And
when you say mutts, were they like cur dogs, or were they just crossed up?
They were
thing.
Well, down here in Louisiana, we our dog that we made was a Catahoula cur.
Yep.
And they were Catahoulas.
Okay.
And they were tree dogs.
Mm-hmm.
They were rough stock hogs and cattle and stuff like that. They were good at all of it.
Yeah.
They were good universal dogs.
Mm-hmm.
But they would tree. And so I'd bomb an old coon out if I could find one of them. Boy, I'd shoot him up with that shotgun, and when you skin him, it looked like it was raining. That BBs, that pellet falling out of the hide when you skin that son of a buck. But so I hunted, all my life, all the way through. Had me a dog and kept getting a little bit better dogs. And so I got later on, I finished school, went to college, and got married. And my wife didn't even know I was a hunter because I was down in New Orleans. And when we come home, well, she found out that I was a real hunter. Bless her heart.
Surprised her.
Bless her heart. We just celebrated our wedding anniversary for 50 years.
Congratulations. So, that is something in today's world.
Right. She's been with me for 50 years and coon hunted with me and all that other stuff, too. So she understands all the terminology that us coon hunters have. So I bought my first registered black and tan about, probably 30-something years ago.
Okay.
Or maybe a little bit longer. I paid $75 for that dog. And that was a chunk of money.
Okay.
And for somebody like me, we wouldn't, like I said, still ain't. But anyway, so I bought my first registered black and tan from an old gentleman down the road down here that's never been to a competition hunt in his life. But he had some pretty nice dogs. I bought a black gyp. I'm partial to females.
Okay.
I really like the female. I bought that gyp, and my buddy went with me, and he bought a puppy. And he asked me if I'd keep his puppy in my house for a little while, and I did. And he come back later on, about 3-4 days later, and he said, "Man, would you buy that puppy from me?" I said, "Why?" He said, "Well," he said, "that $75, I was supposed to go buy a tire for my wife's car." And ended up buying a puppy. He said, "Boy, she's tearing me up." So I bought the puppy from him. So I ended up with 2 black females. And they turned out to be pretty nice dogs. And those are dogs that got me into competition hunting.
Okay.
Back when we hunted 3-hour hunts, and all that kind of stuff. And
roughly how long ago do you think this was?
Oh, that was right at 30 years ago.
30? So right around 1990?
Around that time.
Okay. Or a little after.
Early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
We were still hunting, the long hunts. We still had a lot of land, just tons of land to hunt. They hadn't cut it or anything. So, but that's where I got the competition hunting. I didn't know anything about it, but I wanted to try it. It sounded like it was a pretty good deal. And down here, I live in the north central part of Louisiana,
mm-hmm.
right on the Texas border.
Okay.
I'm 5 miles from Texas. And Lipper was coming along about that time. So, boy, it was a slew of walker dogs here.
Mm-hmm.
And I had typically, I was the only black dog that showed up to the hunt. But they respected me because ever so often I'd skin them up a little bit. And that's what kept me coming back.
Yep.
And I just wanted to get better. I wanted to get better dogs. And Some of our older dogs, I know we can sit back and say, well, them dogs was better back then. Well, it was a whole different era that we lived in, a whole different hunting style. The dogs packed more.
Yep.
They opened a lot. When they located on a tree, you better not tree them on a locate because they might locate 4 or 5 times and then move.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just a different animal. Not to say they weren't good dogs, but they were a different kind of dog. So I hear people compare back and forth.
Yeah.
And I've lived both worlds, and we probably got overall better coon dogs now than we had back then.
Oh yeah.
But I enjoyed them old coon. I enjoyed them old coon dogs. Well, they had big mouths. They were real houndy.
Yeah. At the same point, I would argue that the Garmin letting us know what they're doing and we're able to fix problems has made better hounds. I'm not saying that
I agree.
Breeding and hasn't, obviously has helped too, but just from a standpoint of what that dog's doing, so therefore you can correct it, or at least, you used to cut a dog loose, you didn't know what it was doing until it got treed. So,
well, that's true. You see it, and I see a lot earlier starting dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Our dogs, my old buddy, we was hunting. He was an older gentleman. He's passed away now, but he said, well, we're going to carry old Pup tonight. And so one day I said, well, just how old is old Pup? He says, well, he's almost 3. And I said, my God, Mr. Riles. He says, look, his mom and daddy still thinks he's the Pup. I said, well, I guess you're right. So we called him old Pup. But I noticed that the dogs, even though we know more about what they're doing because of the GPS stuff, and I don't even turn a dog loose anymore without my GPS.
Yeah.
But the dogs just start earlier, mm-hmm. from what I can see. Because like I said, I've had them. It was, you had a dog that a long time ago. It wasn't nothing unusual to have a dog 2 years old before he started treeing.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's allowed us to help breed for better dogs too.
Yes. And the GPS system, when we got the old beat collars, boy, we thought we was in hog heaven. Mm-hmm. We could finally find them things. Because sometimes, you can run a dog off from you, but you don't know he's hunting. He's one out there about 100 yards and lay down.
Yeah.
And we thought he was tearing the world up, and he was out there laying down. So, yes, the intervention of the electronics has really, really changed the world. And, when we went from the 2-cell light to that 4-volt wheat light, God, I was on top of the world right then. Man.
We talk about right there, and that's another thing that lets helps us breed for better dogs. Technology has helped us in a lot of ways because
absolutely.
How many times did you tree with a 2-cell flashlight and you couldn't find a coon?
Oh, a lot of times. A lot of times.
So if your dog was slick treeing and you didn't know it, it's hard to correct that. It's hard. You might think that dog is a world beater and you just can't see the coon because you got a 2-cell flashlight. And then you have a modern day light now, and it's like you burn that whole tree down with an LED light, and you're like, no, there's nothing there.
Well, one of the things we did do, old Ben, was that these old fellas I hunted with, they didn't mind chopping the tree down. And a coon got the den. That was just part time. He ain't done nothing. They didn't have nothing to do, and they had a double bit axe, and we just went in on that tree, and we cut her down. And later on, they come up with the power saws, and we really were dangerous then. And I had that chainsaw. We could. I finally told my old hunting buddy, I said, we just well leave that chainsaw at home.
Yeah.
I said, it won't be a den tree left. I said, we've cut everything down this bottom. And but anyway, yes, technology, the invention of all the stuff we got now. And man, look, we didn't have any good boots. Mm-hmm. We just had the best we could get was a boot come up to your knee.
Yeah.
And man, cold feet. The thing I see a lot difference in our hunting today too is our dogs used to be kind of slow on the ground, mm-hmm. and you could build a fire.
Yeah.
And wait on them. You'd sit around, shoot the breeze, build a fire, might even drink a little coffee, and then they'd finally get treated. These dogs today, they get out of dodge on you. Mm-hmm. You got to be hooking them up. So a lot of things that the dog has changed too. You know, that drive, that hunt
Yep.
is these new dogs. When I say new dogs, they just go getters.
Yeah.
And you know, again, I've tried to upgrade my dogs. You know, I hadn't sit back and said, well, we use the Walker dogs as an example. They did a real good job of their breeding program.
Mm-hmm.
They got some really good dogs out there.
Absolutely.
It proves it. It proves it. And I use them as an example and said, for me to compete with these boys, I got to get better. I can't hope for them to get worse. I got to get better. So I started looking for and not caring. You know, some of the things that I saw that was a hindrance is nobody wanted to drive to breed to a dog.
Yeah.
They wanted to breed to their local dog.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the local dog may not have been worth knocking in the head, but that's what we wanted to breed to.
Yep.
So I went, and if I had to go quite a ways, it didn't matter if that was what I wanted to get.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, so as it went on, and you know, like I said, I got to hunting and got away from the local area that I am. Moved to Tennessee. One job carried me to Tennessee, and lived pretty close to Tam Young. I hunted with Tam, and I got a lot of knowledge. Those old boys got a lot of knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
and if you'll just sit and listen to them,
Yeah.
you can absorb some of that knowledge.
Why do you think I'm like doing this?
But you know, I just enjoyed sitting with Tam and talking with him about what was going on. How did he get the good dogs, and how did he keep them? And you know, and of course, you got to hunt them. I see a lot of people buy a really good bred puppy and put him in a pen and never let him out.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I hate to see that because there was potential in that puppy probably.
Yeah.
And we didn't bring it out. I live on the end of a dead end road, and there's 27,000 acres behind me. There's not a house.
Ooh, nice.
And I let my puppies run loose in the yard. And I got a creek that runs through the edge of my property, into my property, and through it in places. But anyway, so I let my puppies run loose until they start treeing squirrels and stuff and get to doing pretty good. Then I pin them up, because then I want to control what they do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want them just to tree out. I was just sitting here a while ago watching a young gyp I got. She's 6 months old, and she stayed treed for almost 15 minutes.
Nice.
On a squirrel out there in front of me. And so you know, she's about ready, but she's in a pen, but the squirrel come in there. Eggum squirrels. But anyway, got the treeing instinct. They you know, a couple of things that after I got to breeding and these dogs, I was looking for drive and stamina, and I was looking for tree accuracy, and I also like a dog with a good mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And you can get all of that, but you have to be selective.
Yep.
You can't just breed to the down the road.
You can't breed handy or ready, huh?
That's exactly. And I do my work ahead of time before my females come in heat.
Yep.
I already want to know what dog I want to breed to.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm rare. I don't breed much, very, very little. But I've always got a stud dog or a dog that I want to look at.
Yeah.
And I'll go hunt with you. I like to listen to your dog. I like to hear him, see what he can do. I realize that people judge dogs by one night of hunting or something like that. I've seen dogs look terrible one night.
Oh, yeah.
And that's not them, and then they just be a really good dog. So I've seen people make rash judgments, and I don't. I try not to.
Mm-hmm.
I try to let the dog and show me what he can do. And this is kind of crazy, but also listen to the guy that owns the animal. If I can trust you, and you tell me that dog tree's upside down on the tree, then I don't have to see him. I know he does because I believe you.
Yeah.
I think the breeder, trustworthy men that tells you the truth, because there's always no dog is perfect, right?
Oh, yeah.
So the breeder that tells me a little bit of the flaws that his dog got, I like that, because we all have flaws.
Yeah.
Every dog does. But I always said this too, Ben. If a dog's got a flaw, if I'm feeding him, that means I can live with that flaw.
Yep.
So I don't knock your dog. I never will talk ugly about your dog, because he's your dog.
Yep.
You feeding him.
Exactly.
It's your animal.
You don't have to worry about it.
Right. It's not my place to say anything negative about you or your animal, because, again, you're putting the groceries underneath his nose. And until you stop doing that, I'll talk ugly about my dogs, but I won't talk ugly about your dogs. And I've found out that over the years, probably, I guess the last 15 years or so, I've had Robinson bred dogs. And I got to meet Lawton, talk with Lawton, had some of the dogs that started his dogs, actually. So I kind of had an understanding of what kind of dogs he had. And I went and hunted with Lawton. And I said, I like these dogs. And Schenker bred dogs. I kind of crossed Lawton and Schenker bred dogs.
Okay.
And they've come out pretty good. So, again, somebody may look at mine and say I wouldn't have a bunch of knuckleheads at all, and that's fine. But I enjoy them. They fit my deal. They hard hunters. They accurate, and they got pretty good mouths.
There you go.
So those are the three things that I really want to see in a dog anyway. And now the trick is to keep that.
Yeah.
We've seen good lines of dogs go away.
Oh, yeah.
Because we didn't come back and breed and keep that breeding going, keep that group going.
So I take it you're a fan of line breeding.
Right. Not close line breeding.
Okay.
But coming back, bringing that dog back. When I say close, I don't believe the inbreeding stuff, but I do like some line breeding where that you mix and bringing back some of that stuff. Of course, you're gonna get the bad with the good, right?
Yeah.
You got. I tell people all the time, you got to be prepared for that. Sword's got two edges to it, and so I said it cuts both ways. If it's something you don't like, you're gonna get it back again, maybe, and it may amplify. I'm not a genealogist, but I do know that genetics play a big part in our whole life. Our dogs and me and you and everybody, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I look for the genetics, and if they got good breeding, and I like the parents and the grandparents. The grandparents of these pups sometimes a big deal.
I've heard
I've seen a lot of pups. I've seen a lot of pups that aired back to their grandparents more than they did their parents. So I'm an advocate of these grandparents, and grandparents. So you got to have a good foundation, good stock of dogs that went back a little bit. You can't have, just like some dogs we see that is a one-time deal, splash in the pond.
Yep.
Everybody's hooting and hollering that dog just winning the world. But when you look back, he's a freak of nature. Exactly. We all see that. He's a hybrid vigor, right? He can't reproduce himself.
Yeah.
And one of the things I talk about in these my breeding deal, I said, don't worry about my male dog. Worry about what he's producing. I said, and he's only producing half of it. You got to remember the jip is the other half.
Yep. I
said, the male dogs sometimes everybody says, well, that's a good male dog. Well, he's been breeding good jips. and so I look for, I got a male dog, I breed a little bit. And I say a little bit because, look, I'm at the end of the coon hunting world. There ain't much past us. If you go south, you're going to get your feet wet because the Gulf of Mexico. If you go much further toward Texas, you're going to get into mesquite bushes.
Okay.
So we kind of into the coon hunting world. I don't blame somebody sometimes for not saying, my God, well, where you're at, you're 18, 20 hours, you're 2 days from me. I don't understand nobody ain't coming down this way. But because of technology and what you talked about earlier, we can ship semen anywhere we want to.
Exactly.
So sometimes people forget about that. They overlook a dog somewhere because they say, well, I can't get up there and breed him. Well, you can.
Well,
in today's world, we can do that.
Oh, yeah. But at the same point in time, like you've said time and time again, doing your research, finding what you're looking for, and prioritizing quality over something that's close. If it's something you want to breed to, you either make sure you plan ahead and get semen shipped and have your female tested, or you make sure you take a couple days and you drive the 18 hours, you get your female bred, and you come home.
Right. It's about how much do you want to put into this? Because if we get a litter of pups, just think of what time and food and money you're going to spend on these pups.
Yeah.
And to say that I went for second, third choice, or fourth choice and get the one I really wanted, then, man, come on now. Go take that extra step.
Mm-hmm.
So look at that female. Have her, make sure she's healthy as she can be when you breed her.
Yeah.
Make sure that you feed her correctly. You do all the stuff that needs to be done to her because you want a good, strong, healthy litter of pups.
Yeah.
And again, with the chill semen and man, we got all kinds of ways to get dogs bred nowadays.
Yeah.
We never should settle for mediocre when there are some great dogs out there that we need to breed to.
Absolutely.
And I just see that. I hate the deal being when they say, well, she's a good brood jip.
Mm-hmm.
I want dogs to breed to tree dogs or coon dogs. Let me rephrase that. Not just one that barks up a tree.
Yeah.
I want one to be a coon dog, and I want them to track, trail, and tree. And so
I have a very loyal listener that will be shouting your praises. He says the same thing very regularly.
Right. I hate that word. They a brood jip. That's kind of got us in the position we're in sometimes by breeding that way, and not being that classic dog. Matter of fact, I've turned down a couple of individuals that wanted to breed to my male because the dogs weren't no good. Mm-hmm. I just said straight up.
Yeah.
And I told them, I don't want to hurt your feelings, but I said, look, your jip ain't never treated a coon.
Mm-hmm.
I said, and she's 5 years old. I don't care that you said, well, she had some puppies and 2 of them come out good.
Yep.
I said, that ain't what I'm after. Mm-hmm. I said, I might breed to a world champion female and none of the puppies come out good. Yeah. But I bet you my odds are a whole lot better.
Mm-hmm.
And when I breed a female or when I have a female bred here, typically I don't charge nothing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to better the breed.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to get rich messing with dogs.
No.
And
I've seen, I think very highly of you as a breeder for that, because I've seen guys that are trying to push a stud dog and they'll breed anything that comes in the yard, And,
That's right.
But then at the end of the day, you look at their percentages and it's like, or is your male not a good reproducer, or is it because you were breeding, lesser quality females that weren't holding up their end? It's like,
that's correct.
Yeah, your dog's got 100 puppies on the ground, but only a handful of them really made anything. So it's like, was it your male or the females? You don't really know. I'd rather have 20 puppies on the ground and say 15 of them are really nice because I know my male is a nice reproducer, or is a good reproducer, but we know the females held up their end as well. So,
and the other side of that coin, when I look at dogs like that, is the handler. Mm-hmm. Who does that puppy go to?
Yeah,
is that guy, gal? When I bred a few jips, I give the puppies away. because I'm selective on who I give them to.
Yeah.
I'll go, if I had to, I'd go from here to Pennsylvania to give it to the right man, because he'll make something out of that puppy, or try anyway. They'll do a good job.
Yeah.
Again, if you put it in the pen and don't do anything to it, you don't know whether your male, whether that was a successful cross or not.
Yeah.
So again, it's a lot of things goes into making a quality animal.
Oh yeah.
But the handler is really important. I told him my basic job as a handler is driving the truck. I said none of my dogs have Louisiana driver's license, so that means I've got to drive them somewhere.
Yep.
But the breeding pen was the first place to start. Good genetics. Then it come down to the handler, the person that got the puppy. That we all like to think sometimes that we can train a dog. Well, again, I can't cold trail. I'm a hot nosed guy. I can't trail a coon up. I can't tree a coon. That dog has got to have that genetically imprinted in that dog. I can't do that, but I can mess him up. I have the ability to mess the dog up.
Oh yeah.
So
we've all done it.
Again, that's the handler's deal. I try to by letting my puppies run loose in the yard. I teach them to come to me. I teach them to do a lot of things in the yard before they ever think about actually seeing a coon. Because they see coons down here. I got a little old squirrel dog in the yard, and he's the best thing since white bread. Because all these puppies will go with him.
Yeah.
And they'll start treeing with him. And he'll start showing them how to mess around in the woods and get across little creeks and getting over logs. And some of the things that puppies, when you first take them to the woods, they're a little confused.
Yeah.
Well, my pups, because they've been running loose, they've already got a jump on them other ones. Don't say they're going to be better than them.
Yeah.
But they do have a little jump. Right. And so, again, I enjoy my black dogs. I probably hunt them till the good Lord takes me home. But my wife loves them. She loves the black dogs. I like the black dogs.
Conkeys Outdoors is proud to be a sponsor of Tree Talking Time. Family, hunting, tradition is the Conkeys motto. They understand the importance of passing down the tradition of hound hunting. They are a family-owned business that treats you like family. They also understand the importance of having the gear you need when you need it. Conkeys carries everything for your next hunt, and it ships to your door quick. They also offer great warranties on all tracking systems and financing options. Check them out at conkeys.com. You can also use the code TreeTalkingTime5 in all caps to save as well.
So I can sit here in the house and look at the dog. I've got about a quarter acre, or maybe almost a half, that I got my dogs running in. And that gives some time to exercise, and I can watch them. I can sit here in the house and they don't see me, but I'm watching them, how they interact. Again, squirrels come in the yard. I get to see what they're going to do. So I think in our business of black dogs and making them better, the guys that's doing that got good dogs, consistently good dogs. Again, we talked about some dogs are just a splash in the pond. You see them one time and you never see nothing else out of them. But if you see this guy that's consistently got dogs in the winning circle, consistently, listen to him. He's got something. He's saying something.
Yeah.
He's doing something. Those are the men and women that you need to talk to and just listen to what they're telling you. Because sometimes, it's hard to explain something to somebody, but if you just listen to them, and it's the little things that we do, being sometimes they're more important than the big things we do. And getting that dog to love me and want to hunt for me, that's because I go out there and mess with them every day. So when I load my dogs off, they want to go with me. I don't have to drag them out of there. They want to go. And I think any animal, they just like me or you as a person, if we got a supervisor or somebody we like, we want to work hard for them. We don't want to make a mistake.
Yeah.
And I think dogs are the same way. If they like us, they want to please us.
Mm-hmm.
They want that pet in the tree. I shoot very few coons out. I shoot very, very few coons because my dog don't know the difference too much what's going on. He enjoys treeing, and he enjoys reward that I give him by praising him.
Yeah.
He likes to praise. He likes to pet, and he likes. I do shoot a few coons out, but not many.
Yeah.
Not many. More praising. I used a little bit of scenario about a drug dog. If a drug dog got a hold of the drugs every time he made a drug bust, he wouldn't be a drug dog very long.
No, he wouldn't.
So what does he enjoy?
He
The
enjoys,
praise.
Yep, whatever that reward is at the end that they've been trained
Right.
for.
A little ball or something to play with. That's his reward. So our coon dogs are the same way, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think you don't have to murder every coon in the woods to have a good coon dog.
Oh, yeah.
So that's my philosophy about that. And I know some people will say, "Oh man, he don't know what the heck he's talking about," and that's okay too. That's your opinion. Everybody got one. We ought to all voice it. But that's just the way I do my dogs, and they stay treated for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And again, I just pet them up. I do give them a few coons.
I think in today's world, if you went and you polled the guys that own the top hounds in the country right now, I think most would tell you the same thing. You know, shooting coons.
Yeah.
Because they're not worth anything. You know, yeah, sure. In the 80s, you shot every coon because they were worth $25 or more.
Right.
But they're not worth anything today. So I think most guys would tell you the same thing. They shoot very few. Unless that, you know, I understand there's guys that live where there's coon up every tree and bush, and they might shoot a few more just because they're there. But majority of people don't because there's no purpose, there's no reason, and all you're doing is you're hurting yourself.
Well, sometimes the landowner will ask me to kill some coons. Maybe they tearing up his feed, you know, where he's feeding cattle or something, and I'll try to do that.
Yeah,
but that's rare. That's rare. I don't make a habit of it, you know. And a lot of times, if you're just in the area and running the coons, they don't want to come back here. They'll stay away a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but you're right. I just don't carry a 22 with me very much. And somebody said, "Well, look where you live." You know, I think I might have told you, we lived here in Louisiana. Everything that we got has got teeth, and every one of them is trying to bite you.
Yep.
And we just live with that. That's just part of life down here. And so we don't care. I don't carry a gun. Somebody said, "Well, you know, we got a lot of wild hogs and, you know, just animals in general." I said, I'm the top predator. Man is the top predator. I said, and these animals understand that, and they're going to give me room. They're going to stay away from me. And all our dogs are not hog dogs. And this is something I've seen, and you can help me with this. The dogs today are less trashy than the dogs of yesteryear.
Okay.
God, our dogs, I guarantee you, everything we had run something. It might have been a coyote. It might have been a deer. And we didn't have any shocking equipment, so we had to chase them down and whoop them with a stick. And let me tell you, you get behind a hound trying to cut him off somewhere, that's a chore.
Yeah.
So anyway, I've noticed the breed of dogs I got, they don't run in trash. If they do, I don't even know about it because they must quit real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Because I never have that problem anymore. But boy, we had it back in the 80s and early 90s. I can guarantee you, Lipper was right here across the river from me, and that rascal. I've been on cast with him, and every once in a while he'd jump a deer, and buddy, he'd take off, but he'd fall off on a coon.
Yep. And
man, he had such a mouth that, you know, he was a good coon dog, but he'd have to break down there once in a while and chase him a deer. And but anyway, that was pretty common. But the dogs I see in today's group, they're pretty straight, you know, which is another good thing. And that comes from the breeding. That didn't come from the guy like me. That comes from the breeding.
Yep.
And I like to think I breed, and you know, I breed that way too. Well, look, I got a few questions I asked a female, a guy that brings a female. One of them is how trashy they were. Can they tree a coon? And a lot of times I know the guy. Down here, it's not that many of us anyway. So I know you. I know what kind of animal you got. And so I'm, always curious about those things about deer running. And of course, fighting. If you want to go to the happy hunting ground, be a fighting dog around me.
Yep.
I will not tolerate that. I will not tolerate a dog of mine that I'm feeding, put it that way.
I'm right there with
fight.
you.
I don't want nothing to fight. I told them we lovers, we ain't fighters. And so, there's traits that we need to get rid of. I don't believe in babbling. I don't want a babbling dog. None of my dogs open unless they struck a coon. And I don't let them babble. I think sometimes starting a young dog too early and they ain't physically able to keep up with the other dogs and they start barking behind them.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't correct that or you don't stop and do something about it, it just keeps on going.
Yeah.
And I don't like the babbling dogs. And none of my dogs babble. They don't open until they get treated. And I don't. I like to think mine's is fairly independent. They rarely ever around another dog. I don't do nothing about that. That's just how they are.
Mm-hmm.
But it sometimes it's a good thing. Sometimes it's a hindrance. Trying to train one of these crazy things that don't want to go with another dog is a little tough.
Yeah.
But sometimes that's the way they are. I ain't saying all of them like that. I'm saying some of them are like that. Some aren't. But those are some of the traits I look for in a good dog. And again, our black dogs is coming along pretty good. I was fortunate to be down there at the Winter Classic last year, and out of the top 10 places, I think we had 6 of them.
Wow. That's impressive.
Pretty impressive. We had first, second, third. We skipped fourth. We had fifth and sixth, and I think we had 9.
Wow.
Out of the top 10, there were 660 dogs hunted in the Winter Classic last year. So, I was very proud to hand out the trophies to those guys. They earned it. They deserved it.
Yeah.
But it just shows that the quality of our animals are getting better all the time.
Yeah.
I know when I walked up there early that morning to get the dogs all lined up with Alan Gingrich, and Alan said he called me over. He said, "You're gonna be pretty proud of the black dogs this time." I said, "Well, I'm always proud of them, Alan." He just laughed. He said, "No, let me show you how they stood out." And boy, they was impressed. I said, "My God, we did real well."
Yep.
And again, I did do well. All these men and women that's pushing these dogs. We had a world champion last year. We got a world champion this year.
Yep.
Yep. And Kelly and Dave put a lot of work into their dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing comes out of the sky. It don't just fall on you and say, "Here you are."
Yeah.
So all these young ladies that work hard with their show dogs, and I talk about hunting dogs, but I don't want to miss the show dogs too, because they just as important to us as the hunting dogs. Good show dogs have got good body structure. They can run, they can travel, they can hold up good. You get these old hounds we used to have with flat-footed cowhock. The old feet they couldn't hold up to the rigors that we have today. So the show dogs have helped us get a better built dog in the hunts.
Yeah.
That's my opinion now. Let me say that $5 will buy you a cup of coffee. But
no, you're right. And Mike Seitz, who judged the World Show this year, I was listening to the UKC Hunting Ops podcast, and he said that the black and tan, the black and tans were some of the hardest classes because everything up there was so nice. And if you looked at them, everything up there was really nice. There was other breeds where there were standouts. You had a couple individuals that were really nice, but then there was others that weren't. Where the black and tans, it was a stacked class.
I'm, like I said, I'm impressed with the show dogs. I don't own a show dog because I don't put the time in that I need to,
Mm-hmm.
because I know these women put, and mostly gals, it's mostly women.
Yeah.
They do a great job. I can't say enough about what they do. They do a great job, and they're great members of our association too.
Mm-hmm.
So they contribute in a lot of ways, and we get hung up on the hunting dogs all the time. And again, I got hunting dogs, but we don't want to ever neglect anybody, right?
Yeah.
And that's the way I look at things. Is that I just told you how I breed for my dogs and how I want my dogs to act, and again, it's almost a reflection on the handler how the dog acts.
Yeah.
If we treat people with respect, we're going to want our dogs to be the same way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's in a way, it's a reflection of who we are. And that's what I want my dogs to be, a reflection. I want to be a reflection of them, basically. Because they pretty respectful dogs when I'm in the hunting going,
yeah.
and I want to be like them.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's easy. It's easy to be that way when you got good animals. And like you said, I try to give them everything they need, but they're an athlete. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
They are an athlete, and you have to treat them like an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have the best care, the best veterinary stuff. I won't skimp on anything. They go to the vet. They get checked out for. Of course, down here, heartworms is a big deal.
Yeah.
We got plenty of mosquitoes,
mm-hmm.
but because I check for intestinal worms, heartworms, we don't have ticks.
Didn't know that.
Oddity, we don't have ticks. I don't think I've got maybe 2 or 3 ticks this year off my dogs.
Whew.
And
I've pulled hundreds off of mine this year. You come back from a hunt, you just pick them off as they're crawling all over the dogs.
Yeah, you see, I haven't got a tick off me personally this year either. It just don't happen. But if you go a little bit further north into Arkansas, especially into the Ozarks, oh yeah, they got them up there.
Yeah,
they got plenty of them. You would think down here in this Amazon we live in that we'd be eat up with ticks.
I would have thought so.
But the only thing we don't have is ticks.
You got everything else.
I don't have an answer for it, and don't care. I love it. But yes, we got everything else. From alligators on, you name it, we got it. You know, but we don't have ticks, and so we don't deal with Lyme disease. We don't deal with all the tick-borne diseases. So now I'm sure that it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Everything migrates.
Oh yeah.
I don't. Again, I don't know why we don't have them, but
as much as I don't like a tick, I'll keep the ticks, and you can keep the alligators and the snakes and everything else.
Well, see, I'm just the opposite. I don't mind alligators and snakes, and but the ticks scare me. The ticks scare me. I tell you, I don't want to go north to hunt until it gets cool, till y'all don't have any ticks. And that's how much I don't like them things. And probably the same way down here. You wouldn't want to come down here now because, see, everything's out now.
Yeah,
we getting up to close to 90 degrees every day still.
Nah.
And so, you get used to hunting in this heat, so you just don't bother you, Been 108 and all that kind of stuff, but we still hunt.
Nah.
We may not hunt real long, but we hunt.
I hate hunting in the heat, so.
Well, you see, it's what you grew up in.
Yep.
And if we didn't hunt the heat, we wouldn't hunt at all.
Exactly.
Even in the winter, typically, we have, I think probably last year we may have had maybe 8 or 9 days, maybe 10 below freezing. Everything else was above 32 degrees.
Yeah.
So, it's just like I said, just a different place. But I enjoy going up north and hunting. I really do. Y'all got better walking conditions. You don't have all the undergrowth and y'all got. When I say y'all, anywhere above Arkansas, it gets better. And because where I particularly live, we don't have any agriculture.
Okay.
It's all woods.
Yeah.
The parish I live in is a big parish, which is equivalent to a county, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing as a county. We only have 24,000 people in the whole parish. So we don't have any people hardly in this parish. Mostly woods.
It's a trade-off. No people, but lots of woods and
lots of woods. I drive 20 miles to go to a Walmart. We got one in the parish, and we got it. So that's just rural, and everything's a trade-off. You're right. Everything, we don't have the conveniences that other people have, but some things we don't have that we don't want either.
Exactly.
And like I said, I'm able to let my dogs run loose in the yard, and and I know a lot of farmers up y'all part of the world or in the Midwest, they're able to let their dogs run loose.
Yeah.
And it's a blessing to be able to do that.
Oh, I'm envious of anybody that can. I wish I could.
Yeah. Well, like I said, when I lived in Tennessee, I was not able to do that. But when I moved back home, I've been able to let them go, turn them loose. And I wouldn't sell this property when I left, and so I had a lot of offers to buy it. And my expectations was to come home. My mother was down here, and my wife's mother was down here, and grandchildren are down here. So it was kind of a pretty good draw to bring me home.
Yep.
And, but
how long did you move away for?
We gone for almost 20 years.
Okay. So
I hung around. Like I said, I got to visit with some good coon hunters up there. Good people, excellent human beings. And I don't regret the time I spent in Tennessee at all, because I was real close to everything. I could, from Tennessee, you can hunt Indiana, Illinois, Minnesota, all them places real easy, you know. And so it was a good time to spend in that part of the world. But I was drawn back home. I'm like an old dog sometimes, you're gonna go back home, and so I come home.
I understand.
But my original home, I tell you, in the real bottom, they made a lake, a big lake, and our home is underwater now. They flooded us out, and the government said you got to leave.
Jeez.
So that was kind of how we had to leave.
Yeah.
Well, there was no choice. I mean, the government bought our land from us, and with no negotiation about prices. They said this is what it's going. They gave us, but they was generous with us. They gave us $50 an acre.
Real generous.
So, I'm telling you, I can laugh about it now because it happened. It's done. It's not.
Yeah.
I don't look backwards. I don't look back and be mad at somebody that something happened way back then.
Yeah.
But
I'm sure nobody was laughing at the time.
No, it wasn't a good thing. We lost a way of life. I'm telling you, as a kid running wild down there in the woods, we just had got electricity. We didn't have a TV because you couldn't pick up a channel.
Yeah.
So my wife still sometimes tells me something about I'll be watching an old Western or something. She said something about it. I said, well, look, I never saw that thing before. I said, we didn't see these shows.
Yeah.
And because we were, that was just the life we had. And again, it was not bad. I mean, it was different. I'm sure that we would be have some kind of name given to us now, but I remember going to school, and we didn't have any indoor plumbing at school.
Mm-hmm.
We had an outhouse at school.
Yep.
And somebody said, "Well, what do you think about that?" I said, "No different than a house. We didn't have one at the house either." I didn't see an air conditioner until I went to college. We never had an air conditioner. We
Yeah.
never had anything like that down here. And boy, it was hot. But
Yeah.
you adjusted.
Well, that's just the way it was. You didn't know any better.
Exactly. Nobody else had one. You couldn't be envious of nobody. Nobody else had one.
Yep.
I enjoyed it. I tell you, I had the greatest childhood a man could have and had nothing. But we had a lot. But
Yep.
we had no material stuff.
You didn't have any distractions.
No. We could fish on the river. We could swim in the river. We could do what we wanted to. Nobody said you can't do that. This is mine. You got to leave. We didn't have that. We didn't have that then.
Yeah.
It was, and you could go to anybody's house, a bunch of boys playing, and they would give you whatever they had on the table. You were welcome to it.
Yeah.
It might have not been much. It might have been pretty simple.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like I never seen a McDonald's again till I was grown. I never seen one.
Yeah.
Burger King, none of that stuff. Never saw one. Didn't know they existed.
Yep.
Didn't know they existed. I said, "My God, look at here." So, man, in my lifetime, I've come from almost no electricity to that was my livelihood was the electrical business.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So what a change.
Yeah.
I had the privilege of working in Europe, Holland, Norway, England, the Shetland Islands, the Arctic Circle.
That's pretty cool.
Aberdeen. I was lost as a goose. I'm gonna tell you, I was lost.
I would have been too.
Never rode an airplane till I was 20-something years old, and that was when they flew me to Holland. I said, "Son of a gun." But you can tell. I hope you can tell. I'm okay with all that.
Yeah.
That's how I'm okay with that. I'm fine.
It sounds like it was a great upbringing.
It was, and with my dogs, I kind of carried that over with my animals because we always had animals, we always had dogs, and we always treated them right. They were a part of the family. And these old black dogs I got out here, they may not be the best dogs in the world, but you know what? They part of the family.
Yeah.
And when I go out there in a few minutes to go hunting, man, they're gonna be jumping around, having a want to go.
Yep.
And so, I'm proud to have the privilege to be in a fraternity of coon hunters that enjoy the sport for what the sport is. I'll say this all the time. This sport is not about money. It's about the relationship between you and your animal.
Yeah.
That's what it should be about. Money sometimes gets in the way. I don't look at it for money.
Mm-hmm.
I hunt because I like it.
Oh, yeah.
And I like the people that I go hunting with. We have a great time. We share stuff. We share interest. We share everything. If I got something in the garden, I give it to somebody else. I just think that as an old coon hunter, I need to give back to the young coon hunters. We don't need to hoard information that we have that we've learned over the years. We should share it with the young. And so when you talk to me about doing this podcast, it's sharing, it's saying some of the things that I think is important to the coon hunting. Whether you're hunting a black and tan, a walker, a red bone, or whatever you hunt, it's not relevant. The relevancy is that we're in a fraternity of coon hunters. And we should show that respect for other coon hunters, whoever they are, until they show us that they don't deserve that respect. And then we should take care of our own people. We should not let other people take care of our business for us.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've always said, like with our clubs, if somebody gets out of, and I said this in the Black Ten Association, if anybody is rude or offensive to anybody in our association, then we need to deal with it right then and immediately.
Yeah.
Not put it off next week, next month.
Well, I'll tell you
Do
what.
it right then.
I've said it before on this podcast, and I'll say it again. The Black and Tan Association is top notch. I was blown away at Black and Tan Days.
Well, I appreciate that because we work hard to make. Again, it's all the people involved work hard to do that.
Yeah.
You know,
I
thought I had great people working with me. You know, I'll use Kelly and just a host of girls and men that were instrumental in putting this thing on. And I've heard other associations tell me that, how do y'all run it, your meetings so well? Mm-hmm. I said, well, you know, we are expected to run them well.
Yeah.
You work to your expectation, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't expect much, you don't get much. If your expectations are high, you get a higher level.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I've mentioned about my dogs. My expectations on my dogs is to get better, and I will. As long as the good Lord allows me to be here, I'm going to be striving to get a better animal.
Yeah.
So you know, that's where I go, and I think that's what we all should. Again, I'm not prejudiced about any particular breed of dog. It's just we all ought to strive that way. So I'm always here to help anybody that has a question or whatever, you know, and I'll give my opinion. Now, whether you use it or not, that's totally up to the individual.
Oh yeah.
So, but a lot of this is my opinion has come from a lot of bad nights.
Yeah.
You know, you learn from my mistakes.
Exactly.
Being and you know, you learn what I did wrong. Dog it, I wish I hadn't done that. You know, whatever. And so, but I've enjoyed my life. I've enjoyed coon hunting. I've enjoyed the people I've met in coon hunting. It's just been a real good ride for me. If the good Lord tells me tomorrow's my day to go home, I'll be happy to go. But I can say one thing: I've had a heck of a time while I was here.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is because of the people I've met through coon hunting.
Yep.
A lot of it. And so, and you one of them, Ben. You're one of the guys. I'll see you at Black and Tan Days. But anyway, I've enjoyed this conversation you and I have had. Hopefully, it's informative to one guy.
Yeah, no, you've dropped a ton of knowledge on here. So, but before I let you go, I do need a good hunting story with a Black and Tan. Okay.
I got tons of them. Some of them may not be too good.
Well, as many as you want to give me.
All right.
I'm here to listen.
Right. Well, look, I'll tell you. We went. I'll give you something recent. That's always a good story, right?
Yeah.
We go up here to Sabine River bottom, about 7,000 acres of land to hunt along river bottom, and we had 3 walker dogs and 1 black dog, one of my females. Well, we cut them loose, and here they go. So the black dog, my Jeep, she hooked a hard right. The other 3 dogs went straight ahead, and they spread out. And she crossed the road behind us and just fell treed. So we go back there, we find her coon. We come back, I recast her, and we go toward the other dog. Well, she gets in there about 600, 700 yards, and I hear her open. So I told him, I said, well, let me go back here to check with this thing, and y'all go to y'all's, and we'll meet back here by the truck. So we took out and come to a big slough. I'm talking about that baby was probably 40 foot, 50 foot wide.
Ooh.
And it looked deep. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want to test it. So I said, well, and of course, a slough that big, we've been in a pretty good drought. and all the animals kind of come to it.
Yeah.
The animals you just mentioned. Uh, so when you wade off in there, you don't know what a log or might not be a log you're standing on.
Yep.
And so anyway, she got treed in there, and so I had to worm my way around and went back out, and I looked. I was about 800 yards from her, so I took off walking, and I got in there to her. She had a coon. Brought her back. We the boys had treed 2 persimmon trees, which didn't have nothing in them, and so we come back, and it wasn't that the dogs really missed the coon. They were just there a little early.
Yeah.
If we would have waited long enough, the coon would have made it there.
Exactly.
I told them, I said, your dogs are just too fast. It ain't that they missed the coon. They just outrun him. Got here before he got here. And so we reloaded up, and we moved a little bit and dumped them out again. Black dog hooked a hard right. She must be a right-handed ball player because she hooked the right hand again. And she got down in there and got treed again. We get down there close to the river, and she's on an island. And so my buddies, we finally figured out how to get her back, and got her back. Actually, got her back. We could see a coon over there. Now, whether that was the same tree or not, I ain't 100% sure.
Yeah.
But we did get her back. So we hunted the rest of the night, and we ended up looked at 6 coons. And my black Gyp did a good job. She got us wet. We had to wait a little water. But again, we didn't see anything that was mean to us. So we did pretty good. But I was just one hunt just recently. And, man, like I said, we could sit here and talk. I got 1,000 coon hunting adventures. But I've had dogs up in trees.
Oh,
had to go get a ladder to go get them out. We got a lot of cypress knees down here.
Yeah. And
you don't want one to fall out on them because that's going to be bad news.
Mm-hmm.
But Ben, like I said, we can do this again. I can have I can talk some more coon stories if we need to because I got a Jeep.
Oh, I'd love to.
Anyway, Ben, I do appreciate talking with you, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Tree Talking Media. And until next time, keep them talking in the timber.